Hi friends, my name is Megan Okonski and this is a post-work yoga flow. This flow is designed to gently open up the hips, stretch the quads a little bit if you've been sitting down all day. There's also some gentle back bends as well. All you need is your mat and yourself to practice today. Take the flow at your own pace and I'll see you on the mat. Enjoy!
We're going to start this flow in a reclined butterfly position. So lie on your back, soles of your feet together, knees spread apart. Just start to arrive on your mat. Start breathing through your nose, exhaling through your nose. Start to focus on that breathing. Focus on the direction of your breath. If you would like more of a connection to this breath, you can place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart, if you would like. If you would like to set an intention for your practice, you can do so now. Your intention can be a word, a mantra, a phrase, a pin you saw on Pinterest once that motivates you. Anything to keep you focused, keep you centered throughout your practice. It can be whatever you want. It could be a word like calm, presence, a mantra like I am strong, I am powerful. It could be completely not serious at all. Sometimes my intention is the kombucha that I'm going to have after class. As stereotypical as that is, I really love kombucha, and sometimes that just keeps me going, So continue to breathe here. Focus on that intention. Keep that focus with you. If you get tense or if you get uncomfortable or you're ready to give up, just come back to that intention. Come back to your breath. The breath is the most important part of this practice. The asana, the poses, the weird shapes, animals' names, that comes second to your breath. You could stay in this reclined butterfly position and not move, and as long as you're breathing and focusing on that breath, you're doing yoga. It counts. That's okay. If that's what your body wants, go for it. But if you'd like to start moving, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little hug. We're going to start doing some supine twists with a reclined pigeon. So release your hands from your legs. Bring your right leg over your left in a figure 4. So you want to have your ankle resting on your right leg with your feet flexed. And then reach your hands to the back of your left leg and start to gently pull it toward you. You can use your right elbow to open up that right knee. Again, this is called a reclined pigeon. If you're ever in pigeon pose and you're not feeling comfy, you're not feeling right, that's just not what your body wants, this is a wonderful alternative. It's still a great hip opener. Let's take one inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out. Take another inhale. We're going to go into that supine twist. So all you're going to do is twist over to the left. Place the sole of your right leg onto the floor. Gaze over your right shoulder and start to breathe here. This is a completely passive pose. If you would like to kind of press on to your right knee, you can do so. Just breathe here. Come back to your intention. Come back to that kombucha. It's like got pineapple and ginger in it. I'll stop talking about it, I promise. Okay. Take one more inhale here. exhale, soften one part of your body. Your next inhale, you're going to bring your knees into your chest, and we're going to switch sides. So figure 4 with that left leg, feet flexed, and start to hug your right leg into your chest. Breathe into your hips here. Start to take a mental scan of your body. See what's feeling tense. See what could relax a little bit more. And if this side feels different than the other side, that's just how bodies work. That's okay. Simply observe it without judging it, because then we start to practice mindfulness. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, soften one part of your body. Going to go into a supine twist onto the other side. So twisting on to the right, gazing over the left. You can press that left knee open if that feels comfortable for you. Just don't go too crazy because the knees are expensive. Keep breathing here. Keep focusing on your intention. Let's do one more inhale. Exhale, sigh it out, open your mouth. Start to unwind, bring your knees into your chest and grab the backs of your thighs. Start to roll up and down your spine. Keep rolling up and down, just kind of massaging your back. Eventually, we're going to roll into a tabletop position. We're going to be on all fours. However you get there is okay. When we're in our tabletop position, we want to make sure our wrists are underneath our elbows, our knees are underneath our hips. Just breathe here. If you would like to do some cat-cow motions, reaching your gaze and your tailbone up on your inhales, and your exhales doming your back toward the sky, you can do that. If you would like to flip your wrists around so that your fingers are pointing toward your knees, or that your fingers are pointing toward the long edges of your mat, you can do that too, and do little motions to get some energy flowing to the wrists. This is your practice. Whatever your body is asking for, listen to it. Keep breathing. We're going to make our way into what I like to call a mini lizard pose. It's another hip opener, nothing too crazy. So extend your right leg behind you and then bring your right foot on the outside of your right hand, so on that pinky finger side. And you can move a little bit in this pose. Shake out your hips a little bit. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. Let's do one more inhale here. One more exhale. Turn back into your tabletop. Extend your left leg behind you. And bring your left foot on the outside of your left hand. Pinky finger side. Again, this side might feel completely different than your other side, and that's okay. Just breathe into the tension that you feel. Again, this is a bit of a hip opener. So bring some awareness to your jaw. If it's very clenched up, relax it a little bit. So let's make our way back into that tabletop position. And sit your hips back onto your heels. Come into a child's pose. And start to reach your hands toward the mat. If you want to make this an active child's pose, come onto the pads of your fingertips and reach so far ahead that your elbows start to lift. Meanwhile, you want to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Lengthen out your neck. Let's do one more inhale here. And exhale, sigh it out. Now, if you want to stay in child's pose for the rest of this flow, feel free. There's no pressure. I can't see you right now. This is a recording. But if you'd like to move more, we can head into our downward facing dog, lifting our hips up, tucking our toes, and pressing our heart back into our legs. This may be your first downward dog of the day, your first downward dog of practice, the first downward dog of your life. If so, congratulations. Welcome to yoga. I hope you are enjoying it so far. I'm going to breathe here for a little bit. Our downward dog, we want to keep our shoulders away from our ears. We're going to keep our head and our neck relaxed. Keep our heels pointing toward the ground. That means you need to bend your knees a little bit. Feel free. Let's start to really get some motion into here. Let's do one more inhale. One more exhale. And on your inhale, roll forward to a plank pose, top of a push-up. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, lift your hips back into downward facing dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale to plank. Exhale to down dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to down dog. Start to walk your hands back toward your feet so that you're in a forward fold at the back of your mat. You're just going to hang here for a little bit. So whatever you'd like to do with your arms is completely fine. You can grab opposite elbows. You can grab opposite elbows behind your legs. Clasp your hands behind your neck. Keep your crown of your head pointing toward the ground. If you need to bend your knees, give yourself a generous bend so that your belly is heading toward your thighs. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, plant your palms on the mat. Then bring your hands to either your shins or you can keep them on the mat, fingertips on the mat. Your inhale, we're going to come into a halfway lift. Our body wants to look like a 7 shape, the crown of your head pointing forward, but your shoulders reaching back toward your butt. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Your next inhale, you want to reach all the way up to the sky, standing in your Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. And your exhale, bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Stand here for a breath or two. Come back to your intention. Notice the heat and the energy that you have already produced in this flow. On your next inhale, reach all the way up toward the sky. Exhale, hinge over your hips into a forward fold, head pointing down. Inhale, halfway lift, crown of your head pointing forward. Exhale, release, forward fold. Start to walk your hands back toward the front of your mat until you're back in that plank pose. Keep your wrists underneath your shoulders in line with your hips. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes, but press your toenails into the mat. Keep your elbows reaching back towards each other. And on your inhale, we're going to go into cobra pose. You're going to peel your chest and your head off of the mat, but keep your gaze to where the mat and the earth meet. In this pose, we want to be using our back strength, so we don't want to rely too much on our hands for this one. If you even want to float your hands a little bit, and really force you to use your back a little bit more. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Push back up into plank and back into that downward facing dog. I'm going to do one more of that sun salutation A. So inhale, bend your knees and look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And our exhale, we're going to fold right back down, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, and back into our plank pose. Inhale here, and yogi's choice. Exhale, lower all the way down or halfway down into chaturanga. Inhale, cobra pose or upward facing dog if that's in your practice. If you're going to upward facing dog, make sure that your legs are off of the mat. Exhale, make your way back into your downward facing dog. Let's do 3 breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Inhale. Exhale, sigh it out, let it out. Inhale and exhale. So in your next inhale, reach your right leg toward the sky. You want to have your heel pointing upward, feet flexed. Your next exhale, bring your knee in toward your nose. Don't hit your nose. Don't get a bloody nose. Inhale, reach your leg up. And exhale, curl in, plant your feet between your hands. Inhale, lift up into high lunge position. We want to keep our hips squared in this position, our core engaged, belly in, ribs knitted together, shoulders away from our ears, and fingertips pointing toward the sky. We want to keep both legs engaged. We want to have our front leg bent so that our knee is over our ankle and our back leg straight. We're going to be on the ball of our foot. Just do one more inhale here. Exhale, plant your back foot so that it's at a 90-degree angle from your front foot. And come up into warrior 2 pose. We want to keep that front leg still bent, but open out the knee a little bit so that it's toward the pinky toe. Tuck your tailbone slightly and gaze towards your middle finger. Our gaze is called our drishti. It's another way to help us focus. So we've got the breath, we've got the drishti, we've got our intention, we've got the actual asana. It's a lot to focus on. But when we have all of this to focus on, we all have all of this to engage our mind, all of the crap that happened off the mat and will happen off the mat does not matter, which is a great thing. So keep gazing over your middle finger. Breathe here in your warrior two. Your next inhale, you're going to straighten that front leg. Rotate your toes so that they are both pointing toward the long side of your mat. We're going to come into a wide leg forward fold. So bring your hands to your hips. Bring your shoulders back, reach the crown of your head up forward. And your exhale, hinge at your hips. Bring the crown of your head toward the ground. You have a few different options with your hands here. You can place your palms in front of your face. You can clasp them behind you. You can wrap your index and your middle finger around your big toes and use the strength of your arm to bend yourself even forward. You can use your index finger and your middle finger to grasp your big toe. Use the strength of your arms to go deeper into the fold. And just hang out here for about 3 more breaths. I'm going to do one last inhale. Your exhale, release your grip. Bring your hands back to your hips and scoot your heels in together so that your toes are facing outward. Start to bend into your knees. Your next inhale, we're going to rise up into our goddess pose. So with goddess, we can do a few different arm variations. We can have our hands at our heart, Anjali Mudra, hands at like a goalpost arm type thing. If you're into sports, go team. You can have your arms in eagle arms. Kind of breathe here and breathe in the energy of your inner goddess. If you want to sway back and forth, that's okay. You want to start lifting your heels up one by one, kind of playing around with that. I'm going to give you 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, start to rotate onto the balls of your feet and look toward the front of your mat. Cartwheel your hands down so that you are in a low lunge position with your hands surrounding your front foot, your back leg straight. Extend your right leg behind you and head into your plank pose, top of a push-up. We're going to go through our vinyasa now, which is a little part of that sun salutation A that we did before. So inhale here. On your exhale, lower halfway down or all the way down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. And we'll all meet at a downward facing dog. We're going to head into the other side. We're just going to go for it. For your next inhale, reach your left leg up, heel toward the sky. Exhale, curl in, knee to nose. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, bring your foot between your hands. On your inhale, rise into that high lunge position. Start to do, again, another body scan. Are your hips straight? Is your front leg bent so your knee is over your ankle? Is your back leg engaged? Are you on the ball of your back foot? Is your core engaged? Are your shoulders away from your ears? Are you breathing? That's important. Anyway, let's get out of high lunge. Your next exhale, head into that warrior two. open your knees so it's moving toward your pinky, tucking your tailbone slightly. And gaze over your left middle finger. Engage your core. Keep your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your fingertips stretching out in either direction. You are a warrior. Woo! Just appreciate that for a second. You got on your mat like a warrior. You could have been taking a nap, but you didn't. Let's do one more inhale here. One more exhale, sigh it out. Start to straighten that front leg. Rotate your toes to the long side of your mat. Bring your hands toward your hip. Reach up with the crown of your head. On your exhale, hinge forward into a wide-legged forward fold. You can do whatever arm variation you want to do. If you want to do what you did on the other side, go for it. If you want to start practicing inversions, go for it. If inversions aren't in your practice and you have no idea what I just said, ignore it. I will cue a little bit of a twist. You can kind of wring out any little stress that's still left in you. Start to plant your right palm in front of your face and start reaching up with your left arm. Open up your chest. Keep your shoulders behind you. Let's do one more inhale here. Your exhale, lower your left hand. Replace your right palm. And then reach your right palm up. If you need to bend your knees, go for it. If you're feeling tension, breathe into it. Let's do one more inhale here. Enjoy this juicy stretch. Exhale, release. If you are inverted, please come back. Please, we missed you. Start to bring your heels in together with your feet out wide. We're going back into that goddess pose. So bring your hands to your hips. Start to rise up. Make sure your knees are bent. I'm going to spend another 3 breaths here. You can do the other eagle arms. You can do Anjali Mudra. You can reach your hands up over your head. You can, I don't know, whatever you want. You could just use this time to flip the world the bird. If you want. I don't know. I can't see you. If you're doing it, good for you. Let's do one more inhale here. On your exhale, start to bend your left knee. Rotate forward so that your toes are facing toward the front of the mat. Cartwheel your hands on each side of your foot. Lift your left leg so that it's extended behind you. And go through your vinyasa, whatever that means to you. If that means you just head back to downward facing dog, good on ya. We're all going to meet in a downward facing dog. So we're going to do just a little bit of core work. I promise it won't be that much. We're going to stay in our downward facing dog. If you just want to stay in down dog or if you want to go into child's pose, you can head there now. If you want to get a little core in, your next inhale, we're going to come back to that plank pose. Exhale down, back to down dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, plank, and hold up. Bring your left forearm onto the mat. Bring your right forearm onto the mat. Do one cycle of breath here. That feels something. Come back onto your right hand and come back onto your left hand. Lift your hips back into downward facing dog. We're going to do that one more time. Inhale forward to plank pose. Lower down to your left forearm. Lower down to your right forearm. And breathe here for 3 breaths. If you want to lift your hips up and walk your feet into a dolphin pose, you can do that. If you would like to make a dolphin noise in dolphin pose, you can do that. I'm not going to. I'm not very good at it. We're going to do one more inhale. Exhale, sigh it out or dolphin it out. Start to come back onto your hands. We're all going to meet in a plank pose, but not for very long, I promise. Going to slowly lower down onto our stomachs. Try and get there in one piece. If there's a little turbulence, that's fine too. A little turbulence never hurt nobody. Going to head into a locust pose. This is very similar to that cobra we were doing earlier. Start to press your toenails onto the mat and then clasp your hands behind you so they're at your sacrum. Keep your palms touching each other while you reach your hands back toward your legs. Oh yeah. Your next inhale, you're going to lift your chest and head up while you're keeping your hands clasped. And just breathe here. If you would like to go deeper into this locust, you can feel free to lift your legs up. We're going to do one more inhale here. Lift, lift, lift toward the sky and the sun and the moon and the stars. Exhale. Release down to the ground. Release your hands to your sides. You can bend your knees and get a windshield wiper your feet side to side. Next, we're going to go into our bow pose. So keep your legs bent. Keep your heels reaching toward your bum. Start to reach back with your hands so that you can grasp your ankle or your foot. Flex your toes and start to reach up on your next inhale. For this pose, you can look forward. And do one more breath here. Inhale, lift up, lift up. Exhale slowly, mindfully, release to the ground. No slingshots here. Again, you can take this time to windshield wiper your feet. If you want to windshield wiper your feet forever and ever for the rest of the practice or until eternity, you can do that too. I give you that freedom. When you're ready, extend your legs behind you. Push back up into a plank position and lift your hips into downward facing dog. Your next inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, bring your foot on the outside of your right hand. We're going to go into the lizard position. You can lower your back knee, untuck your back toes. We're going to breathe here for a little bit. If you want to lower down to your forearms, you can do that. If this is enough for you, good on ya. It's juicy. If you would like to get a little bit of a quad stretch in, you can bend your back leg. Open your right knee with your right hand. And then reach back so that you're grabbing your back foot. Kind of bring your heel into your bum. Open your heart if you're doing this quad stretch. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. That's okay. Stay in your lizard. Just do one more inhale wherever you are. Exhale, slowly release if you're doing the quad stretch. Come back onto your palms if you're on your forearm. Lift your back leg and shoot your right leg back toward the sky. If you need to wiggle it out a little bit, shake it out, circle it out. Stack your hips open. We're going to meet in a downward facing dog and head on to the other side. So inhale, lift your left leg. Exhale, bring your foot to the outside of your left hand. Lower your back knee, untuck your back toes, and then do whatever feels comfy here. This side may feel different, and that's okay. During these cool down poses, these hip opening poses, you might start to get distracted. Come back to your intention. Come back to your breath. We can't completely shut off our minds during these yoga poses. We can't become silent. But what we can do is gently focus our minds back into one point, one focus. If you start to have a thought, you can acknowledge that thought. Let it pass by like a moving car or a passing cloud, and then just come back to your intention. Let's do one more inhale here. Exhale. Release if you're doing the quad stretch. Bring your back knee up. Tuck your back toes. Lift your left leg toward the sky. And we're going to meet in our downward facing dog. Let's breathe here. Inhale and exhale. Your inhale, bend your knees, look forward. And your exhale, we're going to travel to a seat on your mat with your legs extended in front of you. Keep your upper body straight with good posture, shoulders reaching down. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. We're going to go into a seated forward fold on your exhale. Hinge at your hips. If you need to bend your knees, that's okay. Grab onto whatever you got. Focusing on lengthening our spines for our inhales. Exhale, bringing our chest toward our legs. And finding softness here. Let's do one more inhale here, lifting halfway, looking at your cute little toes. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Your inhale, you're going to slowly rise up vertebrae by vertebrae and then lay onto your back. Bend your knees. Place the soles of your feet on the ground. Walk them in a little bit so that they're close to your bum. We're heading into a bridge pose. Start to bring your shoulders behind you. And on your inhale, lift your hips up toward the sky. If you have your shoulders underneath you and feel comfortable clasping your hands, you can do so. If this is a bit of a strain on your knees, just walk your feet forward a little bit. I'm going to do one more inhale here. Lift up, lift up. Exhale, slowly release. You can windshield wiper your knees here. When you're ready, bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a smile. We're going to go into happy baby pose. So bring your arms in between your legs and grab the outsides of your feet. Start to point your heels toward the sky while you're bringing your knees toward the ground. Feel free to roll back and forth here, kind of like that puppy that can't get up in that YouTube video. If you've fallen and you can't get up, just accept it. Just observe your inability to get out of this weird pose. It's a strange one, not one you want someone walking in on you doing. I don't know, maybe. I don't know, whatever. Can straighten one leg, straighten the other leg, straighten both legs. That's definitely a pose you don't want someone walking in on you doing, but don't be afraid. When you're ready, release your hands, hug your knees into your chest. If there's any other pose that you would like to do to round out your practice, to end your practice, something that's just calling your name, go there. If you're ready to relax in Savasana, extend your legs forward, bring your arms by your sides, and just breathe here. This pose is the most important pose of our practice. The longer we breathe in Savasana, the longer we have to reap all the benefits of the work that we did. If you need to come back to your intention or think of a mantra while you're in Savasana, whatever helps you to relax, to feel calm. You can feel the earth holding you up. Feel the connection of your legs, of your back, of your shoulders against your mat. This is your time. Stay here for as long as you need. You absolutely deserve it. I thank you for practicing with me today, for getting on your mat and doing something good for yourself. At the end of yoga practices, we say namaste, which means the light in me recognizes the light in you. It's a greeting. And so I thank you again for practicing. The light in me honors and sees the light in you, and the teacher in me bows to the teacher in you and to the teacher in everything. Namaste.